And I used to think, well, my gosh, why does she expect this? I mean...
And so it's very annoying to find yourself fitting into what seems like the same pattern.
Because I felt that was a burden to me. I felt as if it was a burden to me to show some appreciation, which was expected, and I don't want to expect that of my daughter, and I don't want to... Yeah, I guess I know for the first time how my mother felt.
What you've just seen is very typical of therapy in that she's expressing a somewhat childish and immature feeling of which she's ashamed, wanting to be appreciated by her daughter. Now, this is just the kind of opportunity that therapy offers to express, to feel, and to experience every aspect of oneself. The immature and the shameful aspects, the positive and grown-up aspects. And what we find is that the more a person can be all these aspects of himself, the more he can change and grow, and the more he feels that he's a whole person. And a whole person, or a mature person, is able to feel childish or dependent or immature at times without feeling ashamed of those feelings. And he's also able, without fear, to be responsible and social and effective and creative. Well, I've pointed out some of the characteristics of therapy as I've seen them in these fragments of the interview, but I expect you'd be a good deal more interested in the meaning that this interview had and has to the young woman who was involved in it. And I'm deeply pleased that she's expressed a willingness to talk with you, so I'm going to go over and join her. I hope you will too. Now, you've seen the portions of our interview on this program, and I know that both I and the audience would be very much interested in any reactions or comments you have.
Well, when I saw it again, I was thinking, by gum, I really lived that, didn't I? This is kind of different from the situation as it was then. But I suppose you want to know how I felt then, or something. I guess I'll say, most of all, I felt safe, whatever that means. Like here, I could... I start by saying things as I feel them, and gradually realized that, by gum, I'm feeling lots of things that I didn't even know I felt. And it was all right to say them here, no matter how bad they were and how awful they seemed. And little by little to realize, gee whiz, it's not just one big muddled mess, but a lot of separate feelings that I have, and some of them I don't like, and some of them I do like. And a lot of these things became very clear during this time. But, gee, I don't just feel one way toward her, I feel lots of ways toward her. But here it was safe to do that, and it was okay, and it felt like, well, you weren't going to blame me for that. And I couldn't say that to anybody else, and often I can't say it even to myself alone. But it was okay here.
So those are some of the things that you felt in the hour. And then I'm sure that I wonder, and I suspect the viewers wonder, did this kind of an interview make any difference at all in the relationship with your daughter?
Oh. Well, I wish I could give it a storybook ending, but that isn't the way...
real ending is better.
Yeah, that isn't the way things happen, and that's miracles don't happen overnight. But I must say that I feel more and more now when I'm with her, and especially when some conflict situation arises, that makes me feel some of the ways I don't want to feel negatively toward her and things like this. I think, well, I know I feel that way, and I know I don't feel only that way. And somehow, if I know all the ways I feel, then it somehow gives me freedom. It gives me some kind of choice to pick the best way to handle the situation that I can. And I think more than that, it makes for some kind of emotional honesty between us. And when I'm honest about how I feel, then I can be open to how she feels too. And I've found myself becoming much more sensitive to how she feels in our relationship together. And it's not that there are no problems anymore. There are always situations that come up that have to be taken care of. But that isn't what's erased. What's erased is some kind of muddled feeling about how shall I handle this and how shall I handle myself. It gets to be increasingly clear for me how I feel and how she feels, and on the basis of both of these things, how we can handle whatever happens to come up.
I'm particularly impressed with the fact that you really are able to be many different aspects of your feelings with her from what you say.
Yeah. Sometimes I can even be irritated with her and show her, and it doesn't feel like it shatters either one of us. And I find that she's much more resilient than I thought she was, and I don't have to be afraid of her, and I don't have to be afraid of myself. And that makes a much smoother kind of thing for us.
I think then that this prediction that I made when I was talking about it might be modified a little. That it isn't just that you were more free to express your negative feelings to her. It sounds as though that's really a small part of it, that you're able to be all of the different feelings that you have in relation to her.
Yeah. I guess one of the things that I felt when I was in this session that we saw was that, gee, I must sound like I only have negative feelings toward her. And that's not so. And yet what I can't fool myself about anymore is that I only have the positive feelings toward her. And I can take into account all of them when I have to deal with her, when I have to listen to her or handle some situation that comes up.
Sort of sounds to me as though you had perhaps moved away from trying to be a good mother, in quotes, and are closer to being a real mother.
Yeah, I think so. And I begin to appreciate much more how much of a whole person she is, too. And I can't help but feel that this is good for both of us.
Well, I know that I think I can speak for the people looking in on this as well as for myself in saying that we really appreciate very much your willingness to join us and take part in this discussion. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.